Good afternoon. There is none righteous, no, not one. There's two types of drivers driving around this square in vehicles right now. Those that know what this is about, and those that absolutely are in denial. Which of us has a son or a daughter that falls into a ditch and we don't bend down to pick them up? If someone falls in a ditch, he has a brother to reach down and pick him up, Ecclesiastes says. But pity on anyone who has no one to help him. But by the grace of God, there go I. Amen. And then my favorite, he brought me up also out of a horrible pit, out of a miry clay, and set my feet upon a rock, and he established my goings. I have a list of statistics here that I was given to tell you about the number of arrests for alcohol offenses and the number of arrests for drug-related offenses over the last calendar year. I don't need to read those because we know we have a problem.
That's right.
This little girl standing beside me, his name is Jamie. I met her a few minutes ago. She's 11 years old. Jamie, I want you to stand right down there in front for me. Folks, we are in our fourth generation in America of babies raising babies. Fourth generation. I was walking through one of our housing areas, apartment complexes, last summer. Saw a young lady sitting on the front porch, holding a child, rocking it. And there's two things men always should never ask a woman. How much you weigh and how old are you? I forgot those two questions. So I walk up and say, ma'am, your baby's beautiful, congratulations. She said, oh, thank you, but this is not my child, this is my grandchild. I said, great, beautiful baby. And then I forgot that important question, and I asked it anyway. Well, ma'am, how old are you? You don't look old enough to be a grandma. Oh, I'm 29. So obviously at the age of 14, when she had her daughter learned nothing from her and had a baby at 14. Now, I'm not here to lecture you on teenage pregnancy, even though that would be a good lecture. I am here to lecture you on why my job is getting harder and harder. Because I'm supposed to be a law enforcement officer that takes people to jail when they break the law. I'm supposed to be a mental health court counselor when someone didn't take their meds this week. I'm supposed to be a mother and a father to a child who doesn't even know the definition of a mother and father. And all the while, the ever-present cell phone is capturing me as a law enforcement officer and posting my mistakes on Facebook. When a 12-year-old threatens to kill her mother, and this 12-year-old weighs 245 pounds and stands 5'11", and fights with officers when they show up to protect the mother, I can go ahead and tell you that is a lose-lose situation. But they didn't call Mr. Facebook to come and deal with it. They called 911. And so when I tell you we're in our fourth generation of babies raising babies, this is what babies raising babies give us. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services tell us that children are 4 times greater at risk of becoming drug addicts and alcoholics being raised by one parent. 4 times the risk. They are 8 times the risk. Now think about that. 8 times the risk of becoming a drug addict if their parent uses some type of drug. This young lady is 11 years old. I don't know her mom and dad, and I know her name is Jamie. Jamie, is your mom here? I want you to ask your mom to come out here for a second. I want you to stand right here for me. Just right, face me. Right here, Mom. Put those on your daughter for a second. 8 times the risk. Parents, 8 times the risk. Go ahead and get on your knees right there. If that mom uses drugs, she just did this to her 11-year-old daughter. I can bet you a paycheck. I will bet you a year's salary that this 11-year-old is going to have a problem with drugs. When her mother has a problem with drugs and handcuffs her at the age of 11. This is not a mom and daughter problem. This is our problem. That's Pastor Montgomery's problem. That's Pastor O'Shea's problem. That's Sheriff Woodruff's problem. That's Chief Dekmar's problem. And eventually, it's going to be Judge Little's problem. And we had absolutely nothing to do with a mom introducing her child to the life of addiction. But we're supposed to fix it. 8 times the risk of becoming an addict. That should make you really mad, because it ticks me off. The time that I could be spending with my children, I have to pull extra hours to help raise other people's children. That should make you mad. It should make you sad and bring you to tears to understand that our middle schools are filled with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who are already sampling the medicine cabinets of Valium, of hydrocodone, of liquor left unsecured in the home. So I'm going to challenge you today to take that anger you feel and turn it in to energy to help us solve the problem. Because this is our problem. It is breaking my heart to think of an 11-year-old handcuffed on her hands and knees beside me. I hope this keeps you awake tonight. I hope you walk into church in the morning, Pastor O'Shea, and you're so tired because you didn't sleep a bit. I was sitting back there next to Greg in the tent, and I had a whole list of things I was supposed to say. But for the grace of God, there go we. 11 years old, 8 times the risk of becoming addicted to drugs, pain pills, and or alcohol. But there's hope. Here you go, Mom, I got something for you. Come here. This is called the key. And the official code of Georgia law is not the key. The key to the jailhouse cell is not the key. Right. The key is the only key available, and it's been around since the beginning of time. That's right. And it's called God's Word. And I'm not asking you to be perfect from this day forward, because there is none righteous, no, not one. I'm just asking you, don't stay in the ditch. You can loose your daughter now, Mom. I'm asking you to reach up and ask for a hand out of the ditch. I don't enjoy taking people to jail. I don't. I'd much rather show up in a situation and be able to diffuse it with my brain rather than my handcuffs. And that's what we as adults have to do. Isn't that a good feeling? Yeah, that's a really good feeling. But by the grace of God, there go I. I'll take those, and I hope you never have to feel those on your wrist again. We can make a difference, folks. We can make a difference.